On our first show for 2021, we continue to look back on the 2015-16 edition of World Series Sprintcars. Today we bring you highlights from Round 3 at Mount Gambier's Borderline Speedway and Round 4 from Avalon Raceway in Victoria. Then we continue to dig deeper and go further back to 2011. We head to Calder Park Raceway in Melbourne and look back on the supercharged quarter mile action from the opening round of that year's Slamfest series, featuring the top door slammer and Pro FX categories. This is Speedweek.
At one of Australia's tightest speedways, we saw a two-time champ dominate the field.
It's good to get in victory lane. It's been a pretty tough season. Like yesterday, last night, we were really good, and I thought we had a good shot at the win, and tonight to back it up is pretty awesome. Good momentum into Speedweek.
J-Mac's win brings him back into championship contention as the crews arrive at Mount Gambier's Borderline Speedway. His joint might be small, but damn, it's fast, and it can often bite a sprint car hard.
Oh, big trouble, big crash, upside down. Oh, heavy contact, that is nasty. Goodness me, that is a huge crash.
This is round 3 of Ensign World Series Sprint Cars.
Why do they call it Borderline Speedway? Well, we're just inside the South Australia and Victorian border, and we're getting ready for tonight's B main. Johnny, the top 6 will progress through to the A, and they'll have a lot of work to do from there.
Daniel Harding starting in a transfer spot. Again, we've talked about his drama from last night, rebuilding a car to make it to Mount Gambier this evening. And at the back of the pack, Ryan Jones is going to have his work cut out for him. He's got a bent chassis. He's going to start 15th and somehow try to work his way into the top 6.
To be honest, whatever points the South Aussie can salvage from here on in will be, to be honest, a bonus, because he's had an absolute shocking night, but all these points count. Matt Eagles in this one, Randy Hannigan outside row 2. There are some big names to watch out for, and Daniel Pesca, a former contractor driver, as well as We Go Green. Oh, we've got trouble at the start, big trouble.
Jake Smith upside down, at least 4 other cars involved, and immediately the red flag is displayed.
Well, that was over before it even started. There's Aidan Hall. He's progressed out of tonight's C main, along with Ashley Scott, a local Mount Gambier racer, but this is just ugly.
Boy, it just looked like Jake Tranter's car jumped off the racetrack when he got on the throttle. He got over Daniel Pesca, and when the front row drivers get together, everybody else is just along for the ride.
Oh, they just tripped right over each other. Pesca goes hard left. Takes out Barry. Oh, Matt Eagle could have a right rear problem, maybe shock absorber issue after that one. Tell you what, there's just Ryan Jones just snaking his way through. Oof. There's a lot of metal on metal going in there as Jones just crawls on through unabated.
Tranter actually looks like gets away from that one. Damage to the nose wing on Pesca's car.
Really escaped the scene of the crime there, but this is excellent news for anyone who was starting on the left-hand side of the grid, including Ryan Jones, who now starts inside row 3. Are you kidding me?
Jones slated to go from the 15th starting spot. The crash eliminates mostly drivers from the inside row. Ryan Jones now starts in a transfer spot. He's got to hold on for these 15 laps.
Rather be lucky than good, they say, as We Go Green in the B. Cleanly this time, Randy Hannigan swings around the car of Matt Eagle and wants the lead.
Tranter on the bottom. Hannigan works the high side of the speedway. Jake Tranter holds onto the top spot with lap number 1 in the books. Matt Eagle was fortunate to be able to drive away from that accident. He'll ride in the 3rd spot as they work their way down the backstretch through 3 and 4. Randy Hannigan bouncing through the middle of the speedway there. Got the front end up off the ground just a bit.
Looks to have his hands full right now with the young South Aussie that's leading the way in the B main. There is Harding. And what a great drop from Aidan Hall, who's come out of the sea to be looking like a guaranteed spot in tonight's show.
Watching Ryan Jones take a look to the inside, but Matt Eagle, too powerful, will go to the Shannon's Insurance onboard and take a look at what is a damaged chassis going to work here.
They've spaced out the right rear. They've thrown more stagger at it, which is the difference in circumference between left and right rear tyres. There is the man sitting on that bubble right now.
Aiden Hall, again, looking to run the alphabet at Borderline Speedway. Came out of the C main now in a spot to move into the A, and just behind him, Daniel Harding. Harding's got 10 laps to try to work his way back into contention for that transfer spot.
It would be just rewards after last night as Hall gets a little bit crooked out of 4, and now the transfer battle is alive.
Daniel Harding looks to the inside, can't get by Hall there. He'll follow him down the backstretch. Hall down low into 3 and 4 as well.
Place Saville behind these two, Johnny, a man who's had a lot of experience running in the US this year.
Saville has actually spent a lot of time running bigger tracks back in the U.S. and has also been a regular competitor up in Sydney at the Valvoline Raceway, which is also a little larger than we see here in Mount Gambier.
Yeah, this is the second smallest speedway we go to. Gee, they're getting low on that pole line, particularly in turns 1 and 2. 7 laps to go. Only the top 6 will go and tack onto the back of the A main tonight.
Still watching Aiden Hall, who again has come from the C main. You don't see that happen very often, especially at a tight little place like the Borderline Speedway.
And that start line crash helped him out perfectly. He's chasing down Jason Pride, the West Australian. He looks like he's in for his first show as a contracted World Series driver, so that's impressive.
Jake Tranter continuing to hug the inside of the racetrack, closing in on Jamie McGinnis. That is a lap car, or about to be a lap car, if Tranter can make his way to the inside.
This is the corner where it all went horribly wrong for McInnes, the Northern Territorian last year, but great to see him back doing the entire speed week, basing themselves out of the Northern Territory. They pack everything up into a trailer, go racing across the Christmas period, and Tranter can't get by him here with 2 to go.
That will allow Randy Hannigan to close just slightly. Meanwhile, Hall still in that final transfer spot, and Harding still on the outside looking in as the B main winds down.
Erie leaders, final lap now for the sunny side S45 of Jake the Snake Tranter. Hasn't been able to deal with the lap traffic, but it won't stop him from winning this B main from Randy Hannigan. Checkers are out. Congratulations to the young South Aussie. And it will be Aiden Hall chasing down Jason Pride, getting that last transfer spot.
So Hall does manage to come from the C through the B and line up in tonight's main event, which will be coming up shortly.
Well, that start line crash really marred that one. It helped out guys like Ryan Jones, who didn't look like having a shot in hell at making tonight's A main. But as a result, he will finish in 4th. Daniel Harding, like you mentioned, just missing that spot by 1 position. That's harsh. Pesca taken out at the start of that one, and Darren Molyneux unfortunately not getting to start after that engine change earlier in the night. Mount Gambier is ready. It's NZ World Series Sprintcars, supported by High-Tech Oils. This amazing little racetrack annually plays host to the King's Challenge, which is an event that the man standing next to me often visits. And thankfully for the hometown fans, this guy's going to be starting near the front tonight.
Lines 3rd in the gold medal round of the top 8 shootout. The Australia 1 of David Murcott 2nd, and the man who was fastest in that gold medal round, the man who will start on the pole of tonight's main event, it's 9-time World Series champion Brooke Tatnall.
And might I mention the defending champ from here last year. So Murcott makes it to the front row despite the dramas that he had earlier in the night with that heat crash. Very lucky to do so. The local hero will start inside row 2. Got big names like Dylan and J-Mac right at the front as well.
Kyle Hurst will be coming from the outside of row 4 in this one. And of course, Aiden Hall, that story of the night from the C through the B, and now starting 20th in this main event as the NZ World Series Sprint Cars go 4 wide. Night number 2 of USC Speedweek, round 3 overall for the series. Bryony Ingerson in the infield with some pre-race thoughts.
Yeah, some late mail from the Halls Motorsport camp. I went and spoke to the team after the top 8 shootout. They were somewhat concerned with the performance out of the number 3 car. They think that the fuel breather is the issue. It's actually pumping too much fuel into the engine, so they've cleared that out, and I spoke to crew chief Brad Leppy. He has his fingers crossed that that is indeed the issue, but some tense times down here for the W3 ahead of tonight's A main.
All right, well, that's bad news for the local fans. Hopefully that Halls haulage car, there it is, the W3, is okay, Johnny, because they absolutely love him here.
2014 King's Challenge winner here, and into the infield. Just as we were talking about him, the problems continue and the bad luck continues for Stephen Lyons.
Oh my goodness. This Mount Gambier crowd might just tear this venue down in disappointment. That is a hard thing to swallow right there for Stephen Lyons. He'll come infield, and it looks like this race is over before it even begun, and that is going to cost him a bunch of points. Helmets off.
Meanwhile, that will move fast qualifier from Flight 1, Luke Dillon, up to the inside second row. Dillon, best finish here in World Series action last year, was second. Can he improve one spot here tonight?
This track, hopefully a little bit slicker than usual. Traditionally tough to pass. We're set. Round 3 event at World Series is green.
And right at the start, we saw the wheels come up on Jamie Veal's number 35. He gathers it back down. Matt Eagle up close to the fence and the high side in turn number 1, but will stay green and work the way down the backstretch into 3 and 4.
So nice. Oh, one in the fence. It's Jack Lee, the general. He's a Victorian local from just across the border. We go yellow. Did we get a lap in the books? That'll be the question. Damage to the front end of that car, and Jack's getting out. Now, Tatnall won that battle into turn 1, didn't he? But I don't think we've got a lap in the book, so I'll have to start it all over again, Johnny.
Checking out the High-Tech Oils replay here.
Wow, it's very tight between Murcott and Tatnall. Tatnall just got the job done in turn 2, but what happened to Lee? He's already up there.
Yeah, it looked like he just got up over the cushion and into the wall. Damage to the front end on the 25 car, and so we'll try it one more time. And there's Luke Dillon checking out the inside of the racetrack and trying to see if there's any grip down right along that pole line. Meanwhile, Tatnall and Marcotte resume their front row starting positions.
I want to give a shout out to Tim Hutchins starting out of inside row 3. Oh, as he hoiks the fronts up. Tatnall wins this one clearly down towards turn 1. Cracking start by the 9-time champ.
Field works their way cleanly through 1 and 2. Got a brief look at Dave Murcott trying to work the high side of the speedway. There, a big bicycle and into the wall.
It's Jai O'Keefe. So a bad night for the Warrnambool locals so far, Johnny. They've both been taken out at the start, all on their own. Very similar accidents. Murcott that time had the lead. So Murcott actually got that one back despite the fact that he got blitzed off the start line.
Well, again, as they went into turn 1, you can see Murcott just there getting a good run on the top of the speedway. Jai O'Keefe doing battle with Matt Eagle down the backstretch and just bicycles it into turn 3. Nearly got the car onto its side, kept it on all fours, but too much damage for him to continue.
Okay, third time of asking. There is Hutchins. We gave him a quick shout out earlier. What a great night he's had. Made the top 8 shootout. Can he run with the front guys? Is Tatnall going to win 3 straight? Great start.
Front row was side by side. Again, Murcott to the high side. He'll grab the early lead. And again, Matt Eagle up top in 1 and 2. Gathers it back in. Aiden Hall out of the C-main. Looks to the inside of Randy Hannigan. And they made some contact there at the midpoint of the backstretch.
Geez, some messy racing between the back markers. Good start this one for McFadden. He started outside row 3. He's around his good friend Jamie Veal, and he's coming after the champ.
J-Mac riding the cushion in the 25 car right up near the wall entering turn 1, cuts it down to the bottom and now looks to the inside of Tatnall. They'll nearly bang wheels entering turn 3.
Gee, the intensity has gone up a notch since we saw the heat racing, C and B. Everything is all of a sudden very important.
On board with Dave Murcott, courtesy of Shannon's Insurance. And again, problems in his first heat race, not enough to keep him off the front tonight. And you can see the lead now developing over what has become a fairly decent race for second between Brooke Tatnall and James McFadden.
Wow, what a way to bounce back from what happened to him at Murray Bridge. He was lapping towards the back of the pack all the way through the A. Could only find his way from the B, and despite the big crash early tonight, he is looking the goods and has already caught the traffic.
Jason Pride right in front of the mainline Dynalog Dynamometers, Australia 1. Just 6 laps into this feature event, and Murcott, the back of the field, you can see what is some not tire smoke, but tire steam coming off the right rear there. There's a cool night here. The tires are getting hot, and that's why we're seeing the steam off of those big, wide right rear tires.
Way! We've got trouble in turn 4.
Matt Eagle and Luke Bowie together at the midpoint of the front stretch. Glenn Sutherland sitting sideways at the exit of turn 4, and we see the caution flag.
Bad news for Murcott. He had a very handy lead indeed. An eventful night for Matt Eagle comes to an end. He had that massive heat race crash early tonight. Got caught up in the B as well. But
David Murcott, just 7 laps into this NZ World Series main event. sees a considerable lead disappear with the waving of the caution flag. His career best World Series finish here came in 2011. He was second, now looking for that first ever victory, but he's got some strong contenders behind him. Brooke Tunnell and James McFadden, who in that first 7 laps established what was a bit of a different line than we've seen any other driver use. McFadden has been entering on the top in turn 1, cutting sharply to the left to exit on the bottom of turn 2. It's worked well for him in the first 7 laps. Can it work well in the remaining 28?
The keen eye of Johnny Gibson on the money there. J-Mac proving him right. As we go Murcott, Tatnall, McFadden, green flag running. J-Mac very close to the back of Brooke Tatnall, just slides up a bit wide out of turn 4, and Tatnall right up on the leader.
Tatnall working the bottom. J-Mac and Dave Murcott on the high side. Now Murcott goes down low in 3 and 4. And again, McFadden enters high, cuts to the bottom, still can't get by Tatnall. He'll try the top side again, entering turn 1. And Jamie Veal sneaking into the picture as well. Here's McFadden to the inside of Tatnall for second.
Got it stuck that time. Brooke went across the infield a little bit, washed up outside turn 2, and McFadden made it work, but the caution flies again, and it's Dobson this time. Will J-Mac have to give that spot back, I wonder?
We'll have to see how the officials scored that one. For McFadden, textbook move to go to the top, then to the bottom to grab the second spot, but may not last here. Let's take a look at the Shannon's Insurance onboard from the High-Tech Oils replay.
Just got loose. It was a long, slow spin. That one for Dobson. We saw him in heat race action earlier. I don't believe we've been racing here since the 80s in World Series. Murcott's never had a win here. Could tonight be the night?
For J-Mac, back to third. Caution flag waved before the field had completed the lap. He'll have to try it again. Again, we see him move to the top of the racetrack when we go back to green. To the high side in turn 1. He'll try to turn it down low. Meanwhile, Brad Keller on the move. Keller going after the 26 of Luke Dillon. They'll race into turn 3.
Hey, we haven't seen too much of Brad Keller yet tonight. The Peter Page Holden S19. He's somewhat teammate of sorts, courtesy of James Rosenberg, doing quite well up towards the front in James McFadden. Bit of steam off that right rear. He started mid-pack. He's passing cars tonight, Brad Keller.
J-Mac back on the attack. Brooke Tunnell trying to hold him off. That's the battle for second. David Murcott pulling away from the rest of the field. Still early on here at the Borderline Speedway. McFadden to the top out of turn 4. Thought about turning it to the inside again. He'll try that top to bottom move. Sparks there from Tunnell as the frame rails catch the concrete gutter.
See, the hard part about going around Tatnall once and then having to go back behind him is you've showed him how to get past him once. He won't be fooled twice, and he's making James McFadden's life miserable right now.
Tatnall to the low side again, bounces out across the racetrack, exiting turn 2. He'll hold the low line better that time through 3 and 4 and actually pull away from McFadden by about 4 car lengths. Caught a quick glimpse of leader Dave Murcott out in front of the field by about 12 car lengths now, and again, traffic about to come back into play.
Definitely starting to see a couple of ruts forming outside of turn 4. Bit of a hold down there in turn 2 as well, where Tatnall's making his way through. So a couple of things for these drivers to start worrying about. These 35 lap features as Tatnall flicks up the sparks once again. Oh, Murcott got a little bit tight in the mid part of the corner.
Sean Dobson right in front of the race leader. Murcott trying to find a way around and continue to extend that lead. Traffic has shortened the advantage just a bit now, with Tatnall and McFadden closing in on the Australia 1.
Typically, traffic here is hard to get around. So, this is Tatnall's chance to close the gap. Wow, he's all over the place at the moment, Murcott.
Boy, look at Murcott fight the steering wheel in that car as we go on board, courtesy of Shannon's Insurance. Now, lap car of Dobson between the leader and second place.
Dobson came second to Brad Sweet here in 2013. It's not going to be a podium night for the Tasmanian. He splits the difference between first and second at the moment.
Tatnall trying to work his way around the outside of Dobson. Good stuff from the onboard camera there. Tatnall finally able to clear the 21. Meanwhile, Murcott continuing to work heavy traffic, and now J-Mac going to work on Dobson.
Luke Bowie is the next man on the hit list here for Murcott. Wants to split the difference between the right rear and the concrete. Can he make it stick? Yes!
Oh, close call there as he just barely got around the outside. Now Jason Pride, the next driver in front of the race leader. J-Mac again, a look to the outside of Tatnall, but can't make the move for second. Will go to the top once again in 1 and 2 and get another run on the Cricky Motorsports machine.
Sails it high through 3 and 4. He's got so much speed, but just cannot seem to get around the much more experienced man that sits in second.
Stays separated by 3 car lengths down the backstretch. This time J-Mac to the inside. A little different tack there. The Western Diamond Drillers 25 can't make the pass. They continue to work on the 55 of Luke Bowie.
And behind them, Jamie Veal. Haven't seen too much from him tonight. He was top points with Stephen Lyons, but this A-main, he's been a little bit aloof, trying to catch up to these guys and set himself up for a potential podium here.
J-Mac through the low side of the speedway in 1 and 2. Again, can't quite get by Tatnall. We can catch him, but he can't get by, at least so far. Laps starting to wind down in this main event, just 9 to go, and Murcott has checked out. He's got 2-lap cars between himself and this battle for second.
Inside the last 10 laps, $10,000 to win this one. It's looking like it might go to Murcott for the first time here at Mount Gambier. Luke Bowie with that broken front wing, and Tatnall gets him done. Murcott, Tatnall, McFadden, the top 3.
Murcott's got a huge lead late in this one, and now Brooke Tatnall has gotten by Jason Pride. J-Mac trying to keep pace. He'll work to the inside, trying to stay there with Tatnall in the race for second. Murcott's absolutely gone in this one.
The A1, Australia number 1, carving his way through this field. This track actually held the Aussie title back in 1995. It was a man who loves the title that got the win that night. Gary Brazier. Is this track going to be kind to a different Australian champ tonight?
Still working the low side of the speedway for J-Mac. And the leaders have caught. What happened? Murcott had a huge lead there. Oh, something's wrong. That car is not responding. You can see him drift up the racetrack, and Tatnall will make it by for the lead.
Goodness me, new leader. What happened to Murcott? Something wrong with the steering, perhaps. He checked up in 2, and now we've got McFadden to the lead.
J-Mac with a big-time slide job in 1 and 2. He'll take the lead with just 3 laps to go.
Goodness me, this all just kicked off. Tatnall washes up in turn 4. There's 2 laps to go. McFadden is going to get the win. Oh my goodness.
McFadden pulling away from Tatnall down the backstretch to the low side in 3 and 4. White flag will wave, and it'll be 1 lap from a World Series win for the Western Diamond Drillers, number 25.
He won here the 2 years that he won NZ World Series. And Johnny, tonight it's about J-Mac back-to-back nights.
2 for 2 for James McFadden at USC Speedweek. Brooke Tatnall second, and just moments ago it looked like David Murcott had this one sewn up. He had a huge lead, but something obviously wrong with that car. We saw it drift up the racetrack, just could not turn it whatsoever, and J-Mac is not happy, and Chad, we're getting word over the radios that he has been docked 2 spots for an infield pass.
Oh, the drama continues. This will bring the lead to Tatnall. So Tatnall finishes second. J-Mac gets relegated 2 spots for the infield pass.
And Tatnall will get the win, and J-Mac not happy at all as he pulls into the infield.
It's getting heated down there in the infield.
And obviously, as you would expect, for James McFadden, thought he had won the race, and now the final results will show Brooke Tatnall with a 2nd consecutive win at the Borderline Speedway, and Jamie Veal with a 2nd place finish.
It's actually Tatnall's 5th victory here. He ties Max Dumsney for the all-time World Series winners here at Mount Gambier. Stephen Lyons, a painful did not start, and low points for him. But how about the drama tonight? There is James McFadden. He looks absolutely ropeable right now, but the winner is Brooke Tatnall. He's infield with Brian Ingerson.
Well, Brooke, you've had some calls go your way. You have had some not go your way. Tell me how you're feeling right now about this win.
Hey, look, a win's a win. We'll take it. Feel bad for James and then guys. Did he pass us on the infield? I don't know. I was too far up the racetrack. I don't worry about what the other guys did. If he beat me, he beat me. Unfortunately, it hasn't panned out that way. So, yeah, James is one of my closest friend out on the road outside of this race team. He's probably the guy I respect the most out here as well. So, yeah, I feel bad for them guys. But this Parker Trailer Transport Equipment hire car is in Victoria Lane right now, and we'll take it.
A win's a win for your team owner, pretty special.
Yeah, to get it for Shane Krieger, I'm sure he was listening, and when we got past, I know what language came out of his mouth, and it probably wouldn't be used in Toyota's next board meeting, but, hey, look, we'll take it. We didn't make the call. It's just how it pans out.
It was a tough call to make for the boys upstairs, and this is how the Speedweek points look. So it's different to the World Series points. The championship within a championship, J-Mac still has that lead, but Tatnall is looming.
So the penalty for J-Mac, not enough to take him off the top spot in Speedweek points. Meanwhile, Jamie Veal still on top of the ladder in the overall World Series season point standings, followed by Tatnall and Dillon.
There's more World Series Sprint Cars action after the break as we bring you highlights from round 4 at Avalon Raceway in Victoria.